Hey everybody, this is the third video where I'm going to cover some just basic databases for BSE 508, 509, and probably other classes that you have in our Biological Systems Engineering department. So this one is on ASABE. ASABE is an international society. It's the American Society of Agricultural and Biological Engineering, okay? So that's kind of in our department, that's one of our main engineering societies, although there are people who belong, whether you're a civil or mechanical or wherever your interests lie, there are probably other engineering societies that a number of our faculty and staff are engaged with. How do you get to the ASABE Technical Library? It's a little bit more complicated than it is with some of the other things that I looked at. I'm going to go to the University of Wisconsin. This is our main library site. So you come in through library.wisc.edu. If I go into the catalog and I type in ASABE, make sure you get that correct. Some people call it ASABE. I don't like ASABE, but ASABE. If I submit that, it does give me a lot of options here. I can look at standards, and there's different articles that are located on the left-hand side. I'm going to go over here to the right-hand side, and you see it says we also found databases. So what you're looking at here is the ASABE database. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Things are a little bit slow here. That does take me to the ASABE Technical Library, and I'm going to access that database. Now, what's really important here is if I am not logged on to my wisc.edu, I will need to do that. And if you're working from home, you may or may not need to come in through a VPN. If you're having trouble, if you don't see this blue screen that has the ASABE logo, think about, again, NetID, wisc.edu, NetID, or having that VPN connection. But this is what the ASABE Technical Library looks like. Not going to go into much detail on this. A ton of stuff here, a couple of precautions, a little bit slow, so be patient, a little bit slower than some of the other databases that you might use. When you search, you might want to take a look at search help. That might be useful for some of you to optimize and strategically do that search so that you don't waste time. Here are the other things that I want you to pay attention to. When you look at this pull-down menu and the categories, you probably are going to be looking for either journal articles. So you might be looking by keywords by journal articles, or you might look by title by journal article. So journal articles, that's journals. Standards, we're going to talk later about standards in BSE 508 and 509. So these are all of the ASABE standards, which are searchable by title and keyword. And the other thing that you might find interesting, and it's probably the largest volume of information, is technical meetings. So some of you as students may have gone to an ASABE technical meeting. You may have been to, for example, Boston, or a few years before that. Well, we have meetings all over the country. Recently, those have been virtual meetings, but our technical meetings is where there are large volumes of technical papers that are presented. So there may be things in technical papers that were presented in technical meetings that you might want to be part of, or that you might want to review. Now, there's some other stuff here that you might be interested in: design topics, resource magazine, special collections and publications, or technical books. I in particular find that those are not quite as useful for the work that I do. You also need to be pretty precise with the language that you use when you look at keywords and titles. The ASABE database is not quite as forgiving as some of the other ones, so you want to make sure you're pretty strategic about what you're looking for. My last reminder is, as I always harp on, as I always talk about, make sure you're keeping track, whether in a hard copy or in your electronic engineering design notebook, your search strategies, how you're looking, which databases you're looking at, the keywords you're using. And that will help you if you ever need to go back and retrace those steps to make sure that you can locate the information, and it will, in the long run, save you a lot of time. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you soon.